Nick, this is another topic. Well, it's a questionnaire that we covered in the past, but it's so freaking broad that I just knew there was so much untapped potential, if you want to call it that. Bizarre. A bizarre questionnaire.
Can I say something about bizarre? Every time I think of that word, I think of like one of those.
Like a church bazaar?
No, I was thinking like a store that sells a bunch of magical, mystical wares. Like they'll sell like a glowing purple orb, and they have like a book of spells. Like that's what I think of when I think of a bazaar. I think of like a tent with like little star patterns on it, and they're selling like.
Where are these stores?
I'm picturing sand. Like I'm picturing them in some sort of sandy environment.
Where is there sand around them?
No, not even sand. I'm picturing them in medieval times. Medieval times or sand. That's what I think of when I think of a bazaar.
Well, that's a bazaar.
Okay.
We're talking about
Bizarre.
a questionnaire that is bizarre.
Okay. All right. Are we taking a test?
You're taking a test.
All right. I'll take the test.
Question 1.
Yes.
Would you rather have to walk on all fours like a dog for the remainder of your days, or have your only clothing option be a loincloth?
Loincloth, easy. Easy. Not even a choice. Here's why.
Really?
Here's why. Because I actually have been meaning to transition into wearing more raggedy clothing. So, like, I want to dress like in the Flintstones where they're wearing like, patterns of, like, you know, that like cheetah print toga.
I've seen the Flintstones. See, but my issue here is you're going to navigate your life and your career wearing a loincloth.
That's maybe true. But the problem is that all fours is that's just like an impossible
You can
thing
teach
to
on
do.
all fours.
The problem is human beings, big legs. Arms, not so big. Medium arms, big legs. Doesn't work. Inclined plane. The angles are wrong.
You got to build yourself up.
But do we bend like that? Do we bend the same way a horse
You're going to have
do
to.
our legs go backwards and forwards and backwards again at
Yours
the
will.
At the hoof? No. My legs go forward, my arms they go straight out.
If you were on all fours, though, it like when you went out for a walk shut up. When you went out for a walk in the rain, would you put one of those doggy coats on?
I would put it on top like a horse, and then I'd leave the entire underbelly just regular clothes.
So even less than a loincloth. Oh, regular clothes. Oh, never mind.
No, regular clothes is on top. Blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing, though. I'm also incredibly not flexible. So that means every time I'm on all fours, it's hurting every part of my body because I can't move like that. When I'm doing yoga and I have to do the downward dog, I can't physically do it without all of my body buckling in to make a shape that isn't natural. Because I can't physically do that. My back won't do it. My legs won't do it. My feet won't do it. My arms won't do it. Nothing will do it.
You'd probably turn into the folded man.
The folded man. Oh, yeah.
Remember him?
I remember him.
Yeah. I mean, not that we like... Sounds like we were friends with him in high school.
Yeah.
You are forced into starring in a self-titled sitcom. Which established actor/actors do you want to star alongside you?
I have a choice of anybody.
Literally anybody. But it's a self-titled sitcom, so it'd probably be like, who's going to play your family and friends? But not autobiographical.
Can I pick anything to play my family?
Explain yourself.
My father is going to be played by like an ape, like a trained actor ape.
I'm not familiar
with
any...
He has all the same mannerisms. Hunched over, talks and grunts. I love him. But he could be played perfectly by a gorilla.
We'll keep that casting option on hold. Who else is in your family?
Who else is in my family? Steven Spielberg is in my family. He's my grandpa. So far we have no actors acting in this show yet. We have a fucking ape and a big time director producer. And a formation of Jell-O shaped like my mother will play my mother. It'll be stop motion. They'll make an entire sculpture of a Jell-O.
The budget just skyrocketed. Would you...
As an aside, again...
That's your catchphrase.
You go to the... Have you ever been to the grocery store and you look in a section and you're like, I've seen this my entire life, but I've never seen anyone eat this. I've never seen this in a household, at a school, anywhere.
100%.
This exists in a grocery store and nowhere else.
100%. My mind goes to, I don't even know what these things are called, but I've been seeing them in the grocery store for frickin' years. They barely look visually appealing. It's those, like, kind of cakey, jello-y things. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The funnel cakes that are Jello and
it's like
colors.
And it's like I don't even know the words.
So I'm thinking of these giant Jellos in the shape of funnel cakes, and they have a bunch of different colors, and you always see like literally hundreds of them on an aisle. I've never seen a single person buy them. I don't even know
Me neither.
if it's supposed to be sweet or savory. I have no idea.
I was at a restaurant, and it was a buffet kind of deal, so I kind of had a little bit of everything. I got one thing that slightly resembled those things.
Was it like a mousse, a Jello, or was it just like literally a weird...
It looked like one of those Jello-y things.
Oh, so they just slapped it on there.
But it looked like part of it, but
did it do a little... When it like
yes.
And
it looked like decrepit. Like there were no like saturated colors. It looked graying. It looked like a zombie cake.
That sounds like something that you make in the hospital to feed patients.
Exactly. Yeah. But it tried to enter my mouth. It would not. Because oysters for me is more like snotty, whereas this weird cake was more like a slug.
Oh no!
You know?
I don't like that. It's a little bit firm. Like it's got to be Jello texture.
It was the firmness was a huge part of the freaking problem.
You cannot make food that is the firmness of a slug. You can't. It's too gross.
It did really have that little wiggle, though.
That reminds me of something completely different, because we were talking about food at the doctor's office, and that reminded me about how people are always talking about doctor's office food being gross and airplane food being gross. I will go on record saying I love airplane food, and I've never had doctor's food, but I feel like I'd like that too. Love airplane food. I love it. Comes in the little like frozen packet, and it's little like chunks of it, and the texture is completely different than what you expect. But I still,
it's because the texture's dog food.
But I still love it.
I'll be honest. The last time that I consumed airplane food was in 2011. I was very underwhelmed. It certainly did the trick.
That makes it sound like you were there to critique the airplane food.
Now listen here. Would you prefer our current world or one where we could hear animals speaking English?
Current world, easy. Current world, no problems with the amount of movement.
Movement?
A movement of sounds, like just listening to all the different sounds. Like we understand that, and it's fine. It's not a problem. I don't need to hear a squirrel say, food, up, like 25 hours in a day.
Right.
Longer than a day. But still, I don't want to hear all of that new stimuli. I don't need to hear it. I don't even think they have anything like of note to say.
Right.
A squirrel's not going to come up to you and say, did you know that like when they're taking a mummies, they put the hooks up their nose and take the thing out. They're not going to give you information. They're just going to be like, I want food. I want to go up. I want to make whole. It's cold. Like that's all they're going to say.
It's an interesting point of view. Yeah. I personally have never really had the urge to have a chat with like a porcupine.
If you could have a chat with one vermin, what would it be? It has to be a vermin.
You. No, but listen. Human beings that can speak to one another, it is inevitable that conflict is going to ensue, right?
What conflict do you think you would have with an animal? Like, what arguments would you have?
No, I'm not saying personal arguments. I'm saying that is just a whole nother species.
You don't want to listen to the arguments.
No, it's not me. It's not me.
I'm saying you don't want to listen to the arguments between a squirrel and a fox. Like,
but no, it's not about that. It's the fact that human beings have enough conflict as it is. Now we're introducing a whole nother species who can speak English.
What two animals do you think get along?
Forget about the two animals that get along. These animals are going to be like, these fucking humans have been taking our homes and shit. It's going to be more conflict.
Honestly, I don't think they're worried about that too much. I feel like if
you don't think they're worried about their homes being fucked up and turned into human homes? Are you nuts?
Pun intended.
So you don't think you're ever going to learn an anecdote from like a squirrel or a snapping turtle?
You know what they say, the more nuts in the more nuts in the nest, the more nuts for later. That's what the squirrel,
Is that what they say?
That's what the squirrels say, yeah.
Oh, that's what the squirrels say.
Oh,
So they
that's
do
what-
speak English. You've heard them.
Yeah.
If you were walking along a path and there was
A genie or
a jackrabbit hopping along,
Yeah.
would you kind of nod at him and
Jackrabbits,
say hello?
They don't even live here. They live in
I don't give a shit.
Europe
It's hypothetical.
and the Arctic.
Yeah, but animals also don't speak
And
English.
Calgary and Edmonton, the prairies.
Animals also don't speak English. So this is kind of hypothetical.
Okay, so in this
Okay.
hypothetical, all the geographical locations of these animals are also different.
Who gives a shit? The point is, any animal, take your pig.
Okay.
A friendly brown bear.
Easy.
You're walking
Elephant.
down. You're walking. No. Oh my God. You're.